Angus.
Hello, George.
All right.
Yeah. How's it going?
Good.
Good week?
It's been all right so far.
Well, it hasn't actually been very long since we last
No, it hasn't.
sat down and did this, but it's okay.
I think, yeah.
It'll be fine.
Right then.
Right.
So, this week is a special week.
Kind of. Not a special week. I just feel I should give it a mention.
Yeah.
Really.
I'm up for that. Go for it.
Yeah, it's CF week.
Yeah.
Cystic Fibrosis week. Yeah. So it affects me very closely. Very, very close. As closely as it could, actually.
Yep.
As closely as anything could affect you.
Yep.
So, yeah, I feel I should do my little bit to use my current mouthpiece to the world to help spread
Try and raise a bit of awareness.
awareness, really. So, yeah. That's all it's about. So, yeah, there's lots of plans of research and stuff going on, and CF Trust are doing an amazing job, and it's stuff's come a long way in the last few years.
The issue is it's an incurable condition at the moment, isn't it?
It's an incurable genetic condition that you're born with, and currently there's nothing you can really do to change the genes. They're working on that, getting somewhere, but yeah. Other than that, it's just managing symptoms, and it's hard. It's quite an invisible disease, so it doesn't look. People don't look particularly ill, but actually, things can be going seriously wrong under the bonnet. So, yeah, I sort of fall in that bracket a bit at the minute. So
affects your lung function primarily, doesn't it?
Yeah, lungs and much more than that as well, and then the other the knock-on effects of all the treatment and bits and bobs like that as well have a big effect. But yeah, it's hopefully it's a good CF week and people have some good ideas, and you'll see about it online, or just give a post, or just become a little bit more aware of what it entails. Really, it sounds like not a lot, or if you're really, really feeling it, you can donate some money to the charity, and they're an awesome charity, really good. It's not one of these. It's not a charity that ends up all your money actually goes to the right place, which is a big deal. So, yeah, but don't feel no pressure.
No,
None
it could be the early homework of the podcast is to go and look up CF and
go
just
learn something.
Learn something about cystic fibrosis and just see how it affects people and what it means for their lives.
Yes, cool.
So,
we should probably. So we don't have a bit of a continuity area. Obviously, last week,
yeah,
with Mitchell, we recorded a two-parter.
We did.
But we're going to sneak this in the gap.
Yeah, and you're going to get the second part.
And your second part's going to come later on.
Yeah, we're not sure when yet.
So, yeah. I don't think that's going to cause us any other continuity problems. But if it does...
Well, it'll be fine.
Deal with it.
So, starter for 10.
Starter for 10.
What are we going with?
Well, George is steering the ship this week.
Steering the ship, so it might go wrong.
Usually, I'm behind the laptop.
Usually, Angus is the one that controls everything, but it's me this week, so...
Yeah, so...
Let's see what happens.
So do I have to choose the news source?
Yeah, you have to choose this time.
Oh, no, local news. No, not local news. I'm under pressure. Something not behind. Daily Mail. Let's go Daily Fail.
The Mail, okay.
Daily Fail. Scroll of Shame.
Okay.
Let's pick something from the Scroll of Shame.
Okay, let's do it.
Female or celebrity.
You've visited this site before.
Oh, yeah. This is my go-to.
Okay. Got to pick something good. Hang on.
No, he's taking a closer look. He's straining his eyes.
Yeah, a lot of these headlines are probably a bit too...
Oh, nothing's off limits. That's the beauty of the pod.
Okay, hang on. Just seemed quite a funny headline.
That'll do.
So apparently, police are to use taxpayers' money to buy clean underwear for teenagers to stop them stealing it.
Wow. I didn't realise that underwear theft was such an extreme crime.
Apparently it is. Yeah, it says police are to hand out free pants to teenagers in the hope to stop them from making expensive toiletries instead. I see, right, so they're stealing other things as well.
Oh, so like just going on the ram raid in boots?
By the sound of it, yeah. It's Cambridgeshire.
Really? didn't have it down as that neck of the woods. And there's a nice picture of proper Y fronts there, which
That's a great picture.
Nobody is wearing Y fronts, are they?
Nobody would take those even for free.
No. If that's the alternative option, where they're on a lost cause, they might as well just keep on. Just stand near the shelves that stuff's getting stolen from. That's ridiculous.
It is a bit crazy. The taxpayer-funded initiative is being rolled out in Cambridgeshire, as I said, after officers linked a spike in the theft of hygiene products to uncleanliness amongst young adults.
Specify a hygiene product, so we're not just... Is it just cans of Lynx Africa?
I think that's probably what it is. Aftershave, maybe. Lynx. Probably Lynx.
Yeah.
What was the first Lynx you ever had?
Well, it was a Christmas set. It's a Christmas set, because everybody got those. Yeah, I had a Christmas set of Lynx, and I think it probably was Lynx Africa.
I think mine was Lynx Africa. That was my first.
And then I never had that. I could not stand that chocolate one.
No, I didn't like the chocolate one.
Well,
I didn't go down for that.
We'd nearly be asphyxiated by that in the old PE changing room.
God.
It was,
all those mixtures of smells amongst all the other smells of teenage boys.
It was bad.
It was bad.
And they'd make you go and do PE in the morning.
Yeah.
And you'd be done at getting changed again at like 11:15. And then you carry round a set of football boots in a bag.
For the rest of the day.
And they would be humming.
Yeah, it was bad.
Absolutely humming.
I don't know why that was ever a good idea. PE, it was never my strong point, PE.
Well, ironically, PE wasn't something I was particularly good at, as I was somewhat inhibited by my body, but I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I live for it.
I loved it when it was not serious. When everyone just used to muck about, that was quite good fun.
Yeah, I think so. But like you say, nobody's ever going to be the next sporting superstar out of a PE lesson. It's unlikely. If you're gonna show strong suits in sports, it's gonna be off your own back that you're gonna go and do it elsewhere.
Of course, it's not gonna be through school, really.
Yeah, it's highly unlikely. I mean, you might get a taste for it, got a taste for badminton. Absolutely bloody love it.
I like badminton.
Then you're gonna go find your local badminton club, but you're not gonna get fast tracked to some Olympic talent scheme.
But by joining the school badminton club, probably not. Well, not a school that isn't a sports school anyway.
No, and I loved that. Got a hell of a bruise playing badminton and squash.
What from the ball? Well, yeah, the ball in squash.
Yeah, I got a proper welt, a full welt.
They go so fast, those balls, don't they?
Yeah, not as fast as the cricket ball. Then I got hit by a bowling machine.
Really?
99 miles an hour. Oh yes.
How are you still alive? Where did it hit you?
Inside of the thigh.
Oh.
It's not like a proper cricket ball you put in there. It's not one with a seam.
Is it like the rubber ones?
No, it's like a hockey ball. So it's like a giant... It's got dimples on it, so it's like a giant golf ball to help them fly a bit straighter.
Yeah.
And we were in the bowling machine, playing seriously with it at 40 miles an hour, simulating the speed that it would go when we were children. And then somebody stands up there and clicks the button until it says 99 and you put it in. And didn't really readjust where the ball should be bouncing. So it flung up at me and got me right in the thigh.
Oh. Although, it could have been a lot worse if it had been a few inches higher.
Fatal. It would have been a fatal blow. I reckon it would have smashed your box. Not a chance.
That is very fast.
Yeah, and it made a horrible noise, and they felt really bad as soon as they'd done it as well, because they knew how bad that was. And it missed my... it clipped the pad. Well, that pad was going to do nothing anyway. And it, yeah. Oh. And I had a big red bruise, and where the little dimples were... little white bruises with inside the big red mark. So
you had a bruise in a bruise.
Yeah, almost. It properly left a big slap. It was it was pretty bad.
I once saw a guy get hit by a cricket ball as he was running past. So the whole story was we were running at school. And we were running up the field to go to the cricket pitches further up. And there was these guys playing, and a friend of mine was over the far side, and I was at the batter's side, and he was at the bowler's side. And he was running. I just remember looking over and thinking, this is going to end badly. I don't know why. It's going to end badly. And the bowler bowled. And the guy with the bat hit the cricket ball. And I was like, I can see what's going to happen here. And then in slow motion, he ran and the ball was flying. And it married perfectly right in his temple.
Oh.
And it was like... hit him in the head, and he fell to the ground. He was fine. It was only those orange rubber cricket balls. Yeah, so they weren't proper cricket balls. Could have been impossible if it had been a
Do you remember when
proper
Gary
cricket
Payne got hit in the nuts with a proper cricket ball?
ball. No, I wasn't
The
there
teacher. Oh, that's a special moment in my life. I'll never be able to unsee that.
then. PE
Like,
teacher,
yeah.
hitting the balls
Hitting the
by a
balls,
cricket ball.
and he was like the full. He must have felt sick. I mean, he had the full shebang. Yeah, and there was another one where he got hit in the. Somebody just innocently threw a football back towards him
I remember that.
and
I
threw
was
it, and
there.
then realised straight away what they'd done, and were like, "Sir," too late, hit
Hit
him in the head,
Yep, I remember
and
that.
he went ape,
Yeah.
went fully ape,
Yeah, he did.
wrongfully too.
I was actually there that day. I think I was definitely there.
Yeah, good day. I live for the days when it all went wrong.
For teachers.
Yeah, I wasn't some sort of anarchist. I did say this the other day, looking back, like, I'm not quite sure how I managed to go through school. I was just, like, annoying.
Yeah.
I never did anything that was warranted being really classified as naughty. But I did lots of things that were just annoying and disruptive, and I was just a bit of a pain in the backside, to be honest, and got away with it, I guess, looking back. I wouldn't change anything. If anything, actually, no, I would change it. I'd be worse, because I realised, I sat down, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, about how the consequences of you being like, oh, you got in so much trouble, you got a after-school detention, all this, it actually meant nothing.
Zero.
Goes on your permanent record. What are you going to be doing? Applying for a job somewhere, and they're going to be like, and he's got 3 grey marks on his permanent record. For
He had an after-school detention for throwing a rolled-up bit of paper at a person on the other side of the room.
Exactly. It was worth it. Honestly, it would have been, if what you were doing was funny, it would have been worth it.
Yeah. If it's a story that when you're grown up and you start a podcast you can talk about,
Yeah.
it's
I
worth
wish,
it.
now looking back on life, I wish I'd done more things that would have been what I could class as,
Podcast stories.
material I could call back on. But on the whole, I don't sit around pre-thinking about.
No.
Pre-preparing. No, it's just where the magic goes. We did get probably one of the weirdest incidents. We ended up getting a whole load of trouble for doing a Mexican wave outside the front of school, about 10 of us. And somebody came over, and it was like Ofsted inspection at the same time, or some inspector
God.
walking around. And they were like, obviously wanted to portray some false representation of what the school
Which
really
I've never
was.
really understood why.
Yeah.
The schools know Ofsted are coming.
Yeah.
They make the school look fantastic while Ofsted's there.
Yeah, and then normal services
And then,
resumed.
exactly.
So we were doing a Mexican wave, just messing around, and then, and this was classed as bullying.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who are you bullying?
Exactly. And then we all ended up in like a pastoral detention where we were sat there with
Brilliant.
the head teacher. And he made us write a letter of apology
To who?
to the school or whoever had done it. And somebody, I can't remember who it was exactly. But somebody started their letter, "We're sorry for being naughty," and said it in the way with the double entendre intended. And, and then I think even the head teacher nearly like cracked at this one and thought it was funny, and then let us go. He thought the whole thing was just ridiculous. It was a waste of his time. It was a waste of our time. It was a waste of everybody's time.
Have you ever done a Mexican wave or been part of a Mexican wave at an actual sporting event?
Yeah, I've done it at at sporting events, but it normally only happens at a sporting event if the actual sport you're watching the game's rubbish.
Really?
Yeah, so
Well, everyone's bored. Or...
yeah, I went to watch some rugby at Twickenham. One of those like a finals day where there was like 4 or 5 games on in the same day from all different leagues. And obviously earlier on in the day, everyone's not super interested about what you're watching.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
And it was red hot as well. It was like super hot. And we were on the side of the stadium that was in just sun all day. I got so burnt. And yeah, we just did Mexican waves all day because it wasn't particularly fantastic. So yeah, when it got boring, everyone would start a Mexican wave. There's something, I can't remember where it is. Somebody worked out how many people you need to start a Mexican wave. The fewest amount of people.
What, a sporting event?
Yeah, fewest amount of people to start a Mexican wave. I think, I want to say it's about 6 or 7. But it depends, like you say, it depends how committed your crowd are. You can't just get them going in the opera. You couldn't.
I would love to see a Mexican wave at the opera.
You're at the Royal Albert Hall last night of the proms. Actually, no, they'd be up for it there. But
Yeah, there's a BBC News story. Mexican wave secrets revealed.
yeah, see,
It takes about 30 people to get a Mexican wave going in a football stadium.
Or 30 in a football stadium. But do you reckon it depends on what shape they're in? If it's a line of 30 of them in a row, that's going to look much more visually impacting than if there was just a 6x5 block of 30.
I think it explains it here.
Skim. Give us a rundown.
It says 14 Mexican waves in a stadium containing at least 50,000 people were examined. It was found that between 25 and 35 people were needed to get the wave going. And then, in quotes, it is generated by no more than a few dozen people standing up simultaneously and subsequently expands through the entire crowd, as it acquires a stable, near-linear shape.
Well, that's just describing what a Mexican wave is.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Not how it starts.
They actually wrote that. The team wrote that in
and
the
which
journal
university were given the funding to make this one happen? Because it always is. I saw a classic this week, and I can't 100% remember what it was, which is annoying me, of a university who'd been given money to spend on, like, researching one of these things.
Found it. Scientists from the University of Budapest.
Oh, Budapest were charged with this one.
Yeah.
Good to see Budapest are answering the big questions that we all have on our lips.
And they studied a videotape of the crowd phenomenon that caught on during... I see the crowd phenomenon that caught on during the 1986 World Cup. And built a mathematics model to describe how it works.
Was the 1986 World Cup the one in Mexico, which is the one
Could've been.
that was where it all kind of started?
Where it kicked off.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool idea, really.
Yeah, it is. It looks very visually imposing.
Mm.
It's not as it looks not as good as. It doesn't so much happen in the UK football leagues because everybody has to be seated.
What? Because the English football league's interesting.
Yeah. Well, we don't. Yes, for example, the Premiership's kind of you don't get many lull points where people are going to be standing up doing Mexican waves.
So, this is boring. Mexican wave.
But no, it's in the European leagues where you're still allowed to stand in on like tiered standing, and they cram in loads more people, and they all get jumping up and down at the same time, and the atmosphere in those places looks unreal.
I saw a film once, Spanish or it might have been a Mexican or Argentinian, some Spanish-speaking country, and it's called The Secret in Their Eyes, or I think it's El Secreto de sus Ojos in Spanish. And
that was incredibly impressive.
Thanks.
That was a string I did not know you had to your bow.
Anyway, so it's a film, and there's this scene. It's actually one of those scenes in film that lots of people who go to film school learn about it. And it's exactly as you've described. And it's in these, like, a big concrete stadium, and everyone's stood up. And they're all going absolutely crazy, and he's just watching the football, this police guy. And he spots the guy that he's been looking for, like, the whole film. And he starts, like, running after him. The crowd's all crazy because the football team have just won, and the noise and the crowd's going crazy. It's good. It's really good. So I know what you mean because I've seen it in a film. So I know exactly what it's like. I don't need to go there. I've seen it in a film.
Oh, I'd like to go.
I would definitely like to go. It'd be awesome.
And it's a very. I can imagine going. It must feel quite a hostile environment, despite it not being actually that hostile.
Yeah. Because it depends what team you support and what side of the stadium you're on.
Yeah, and or if you understood the language of what everybody was talking about.
And that.
Because otherwise you do feel a little alienated and worried.
That's the thing, isn't it? When you're abroad and everyone is speaking a completely different language, it is a little bit intimidating.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting on the same.
I find it really interesting.
Yeah.
I always try and pick up something if I'm somewhere.
Yeah.
Try and pick up just at least thank you. Just if you can learn to say thank you in their language, it means quite a lot to them, I think.
I've spent a lot of time in London in the last 2 years. I'll probably a third of my 4 months a year, something like that, 4 or 5 months. And the part of London where I'm normally knocking around is like Chelsea and Kensington, which has a huge French population and other just general foreign population. And on the whole, it's a rarity to hear an English voice before you'll hear people speaking in foreign. Yeah, it is quite a strange. It's quite a strange environment.
I think that's good though because it brings culture, doesn't it, to a city?
Oh, massively, yeah. But Chelsea in Kensington is very odd. It's like half the houses are uninhabited all the time. It's just dead because people own them all as second homes, third homes, fourth homes, whatever you want. And they're always being renovated.
Really?
Always been renovated. And renovations like people having basements dug and things.
Sounds like a good business to get into.
Yeah, well, it is. It's interesting because the land value is so high. So if you could buy a little terrace house, a 2-bed terrace house in Chelsea, is going to be like, I don't even know, £4 or £5 million. Yeah. So if you have to spend £500,000 for them digging a basement for you to put in a cinema room and a wine cellar downstairs, your value is proportionately going to increase by like £2 million on your property. So even then, it becomes to the insane level where people were digging. They were having they called them iceberg houses, where you were almost having more.
The house was bigger underground.
Yeah,
than overground.
you had more going underground than overground. But it was taking them years to do these excavations. I mean, genuinely, there's some building sites that even I've walked past for 2 years now.
That are still going.
That are still just have a conveyor belt poking out the garden. And there's just a bloke underneath, and they have to use hand tools almost, because you can't put a digger underneath.
Of course you can't.
So you have to use a pneumatic drill and hand shovel the buckets in. But it just takes years, which is why it costs so much money. And it's very. I think also. I watched a television program about this. I think planning laws change now, so you aren't allowed to build these 2-story. They've stopped. They've blocked people doing 2-story basement.
2-story basement.
Yeah, you aren't allowed to do it anymore because it was taking too long and the disruption to the other houses around. So
yeah, it must be because you must be able to hear that or even feel it.
Well, you'd feel it. Well, people's pictures were falling off the walls for 2 years, and also you have to have. They're quite close streets where all these people are having this work done, and you can't get rid of the mud very easily. So all you were having was just skips on the road, full of
trucks.
and a grabber truck would come every morning and empty the skip, and it would block the road up for 2 hours in the morning while it was emptying it, and people were like, "I can't get to work," and it was just it was madness. It would be hell living next door to one. The houses are quite cool though.
There are some lovely houses around there.
They're amazing.
I think
they just feel a
for
bit
the equivalent
soulless.
amount of money down in Devon, you could buy a castle with
you could buy a country
hundreds
estate.
of acres of land.
Genuinely, you could buy a country estate.
Yeah, easily.
And you have to question at that point, are you not just better off buying a country estate?
I think lifestyle-wise you are.
Yeah, if you came 2 hours... Well, okay, Devon's an extreme example coming all the way out here. But
well, yeah, no, you can go up a bit, can't you?
Yeah, if you 2 hours...
Or down to the Cotswolds.
Yeah. 2 hours, you could be in the middle. You could be beyond Birmingham in 2 hours on the train or something. Yeah. So,
in fact, Somerset. You could be in Somerset in a couple of hours.
But you would spend your entire life commuting. Yeah, and I think that's just it wouldn't be something I would be interested in. I wouldn't be very interesting way to spend your existence. And the trains cost a fortune.
Yeah, they're so expensive.
Whoa! Season passes.
Train prices are mental. Any kind of public transport, taxis as well. Oh my god.
Yeah, taxis are expensive.
So expensive.
But there's a time and a place to use them, I think.
Yeah, when you're pissed.
Yeah. And also, if you're just doing a one-off journey in the day and there's 4 of you...
Yeah, I think that it comes quite cheap, doesn't it?
If you're splitting it, you can go quite a long way on a tenner before you've paid 4 people's tube. Yeah. If you for £2.50 tube fare or however, but rounded up.
Coach travel is the cheapest.
Yeah, but it's horrendous.
It is.
I mean,
it is often quite terrible.
Leg room to cost to suicidalness on arrival.
I find National Express is all right.
Is there a darling hostess selling crisps and tea?
Yeah. She comes down the aisle with a trolley.
Well, that's a great song. I love that.
Any duty free? Any duty free?
Duty free on a bus?
Any duty free?
You only get duty free in the air.
Any duty free?
I need to go on your buses if you're getting duty free. What, you're buying little bottles of whiskey? Somewhere on the M4, George consumes another small bottle of Bell's.
That'd be brilliant. I think they should introduce that. Refreshment carts on coaches.
Well, it's a space thing. You can get... there was... When did the service station start selling alcohol?
Don't know.
Was it last year, maybe? A year ago or so?
I don't know.
If there's like a M&S food, you'll be able to buy beer.
Oh, yeah, of course. You can buy wine and beer and stuff.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to consume it. I don't think you're allowed to sit there and consume it in your...
Probably not, no.
Yeah, sitting in the welcome break.
Drinking a bottle of wine.
Yeah, drinking a bottle of wine with your
McDonald's.
Yeah, well, it's not normally a McDonald's.
No.
It's always like Burger King or
Yeah, it's like,
Just Eat Food.
I didn't realise originally service stations were started by the government. It was a government-run thing initially.
Or it was privatised. They sold it off.
Yeah, it got sold off. So they built them all around the country, and it was they were run by the government or funded by the government, and they were horrific. And then they were slowly privatised, and that's why we have a welcome break.
Yeah, sold
and
off to those
others.
people. Have you been to the farm shop one
Oh, what, Gloucester?
in Gloucester?
Gloucester Services.
Teletubby Mountain.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah, with
I could
grass
live
on the
there.
roof. Eco Village.
I love it. There's two now. There's one either side, isn't
Yeah,
there?
they've finally done both
They're
the
amazing.
north and the southbound
Yeah.
carriage.
If you're ever up in near Gloucester on the M5, stop there.
Yeah, yeah.
So good. There's no like McDonald's or anything. It's
Yeah,
just a
it's-
farm shop and local produce, and
I
there's
believe.
a restaurant. It's
I
good.
believe there's one owned by the same people somewhere in the Lake District.
Oh really?
Yeah. And we so well travelled our knowledge of service stations
Service
of the
stations in-
service stations of the UK.
on the British motorway
Oh
network.
Jesus! What's your favourite motorway?
I like the M5. I think
Oh.
M5's great.
I'm to death with the M5.
Really?
I can't do it anymore.
I think it's all right. I love when you get to Bristol and it's just mental and there's big, massive bridges. Some of the biggest bridges I've ever
It's
seen.
like Spaghetti Junction, where there's like a million
Yeah.
roads over the top of each other. My favourite is the A74M in Scotland.
Is that the one in Scotland that takes you from, what's it called? From not Edinburgh, north of Edinburgh, right up to the.
Oh no, that's the
Highlands.
A9.
Oh, the A9.
That's my favourite A road.
A9 is a great road.
Oh, it's magical. It's really high.
It's just beautiful. Isn't the A9 the one in Spectre? When the big money shot when they're driving down.
Nah, the
through
big money
mountains.
shots. The big money shots through. Where the ski resort is. Well, I say ski resort, where the ski lift is and a slope.
Well, that's up near Fort Bill, isn't it?
Yeah, the
William.
approach to Fort William through there, and yeah, you go past Jimmy Savile's old house,
Oh,
which is where it's been
fine.
sold off and boarded up, and it's just
Yeah.
quite like graffitied
Just
and
knock it down.
a bit weird. It does look like it needs knocking down.
Just to clarify, yeah, there is a ski resort in the UK.
A few,
There's a couple
yeah,
up in Scotland.
a few. Yeah, there
And
was
there's probably not one in Wales. Is there one in Wales?
no.
No.
They get snow, but not high enough
Not like
or
that.
not regularly enough.
In Scotland there is.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't think they're too bad either. There's only a few runs. There's only like 10 runs or something stupid. But
It's really annoying me the name of where Glencoe
oh,
Pass.
Glencoe.
Glencoe
Yeah.
Pass is where it is. That's the
The Spectre money shot.
incredible road. Oh, what?
Basically, Scotland's great for roads.
Oh,
As soon as you go north of like Edinburgh into the actual Highlands and stuff, the roads are
it's
incredible.
super beautiful. Yeah, and it's really strange when you go out the back end of like Glasgow. And then all of a sudden you go past like through a roundabout, and there's a takeaway Costa, a drive-through Costa, which is the first drive-through Costa I ever saw actually. And then it's like somebody flicks the switch, and all of a sudden like pow.
Suddenly mountains.
Next minute you're like full locks and glens, mountainous. Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable. I love it, but it's from where we are. It's so far.
Yeah, it's a long, long way. Well, it's about 9 hours to where we're talking about, if not
Yeah.
probably about 9 hours up there.
Well, yeah. If you're being sensible and like stopping,
Yeah,
I mean, if you did it in the
Stops,
one,
yeah.
if you did it in the one and you stopped for fuel
Nobody
only,
can do it in the one.
If you did it in the one,
Nobody
it's probably
can go
7.
8 hours without a wee break.
It's probably 7 hours with no wee breaks.
No one could do that.
With a bottle.
Yeah.
Ever weed in a bottle?
No, I haven't.
I've weed in a bottle
Right, why would you ever wee in a bottle and not in a hedge?
because you
or
couldn't
something?
stop
Oh, right, in a car.
in
or
a
something.
rush. In a rush.
No, I've never done that.
On the back seat of the car, weed in a bottle.
No, never done that.
You haven't lived.
I've never been in that much of a rush.
Next time on the way to work.
I'm going to work on
Yeah.
my 15-minute journey
Yeah.
to work.
Like, let go of the morning wee, like, overlook the morning wee and then save it for a Lucozade bottle.
Oh, wide
Reason
rim.
why I
Love
recommend
that.
a Lucozade bottle,
Wide rim.
wider brim, wider neck.
Probably not a problem for some men.
No, it's just, well, you don't want a mistake. You don't want to
Some-
get wee everywhere.
Some men fruit shoots fine. Others need the full Lucozade bottle.
So it'd be only varying widths. Or it depends how much you need a wee. If you want a Volvic bottle, is like the Optimum C, because that's got a wide brim and it's about 2 litres. So on those Volvic strawberry waters...
You know too much about this, Angus.
I'm just thinking about it. Do you reckon when they design bottles, they think about neck size.
Probably, yeah. That's probably why most bottles are so small, so that people don't put their penises in them.
Yeah. When there's suction problems, there's also you could get yourself in a proper pickle.
Yeah.
In the back of a car. Yeah. Well, what a place.
That's a ridiculous place.
Probably
to
a place
stop.
to finish.
A great place to finish.
Yeah. So we've covered from
Well, it started out with that news story about the police giving away
underpants.
using taxpayers' money to give dodgy-looking Y-fronts to teenagers who steal links from Boots.
And then
or probably Savers.
We covered the entire UK road and motorway network, discussed how they privatised the motorway services, and which is the best bottle to wee in. We don't have a comment if you're a girl.
No, I mean...
So if somebody wants to get in touch, which is the best
well,
bottle
we're men,
to
we don't
wee
really
in
understand, so...
with a female anatomy, that'd be really helpful.
You can get us on Twitter.
Yeah, tweet in.
At Starter10Pod.
Starter410pod, the number 10.
Yep.
Yeah, or you could email.
You can email us
You're
too.
mad. At starterfor10pod@gmail.com, but that's the word 10. Because there's no consistency.
Because the internet's a nightmare.
Should have thought about this, really.
It doesn't matter.
And we're available on all the usual places.
All the usual places. iTunes.
Acast, Spreaker.
And it'll be on...
soon to be on TuneIn.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. It could be on Stitcher soon.
And basically just check our Twitter.
Anywhere. Yeah, or our own personal Twitters.
Yeah. You can catch me on I don't know what my Twitter handle is. GOBen94, is it?
GOB94, because George doesn't really use Twitter.
GOB94.
And I'm McAngus on Twitter.
Which is one of the cleverest Twitter handles I've seen.
Oh, thank you.
I like it.
And I'm all over Twitter 24/7, so
All
yeah.
the time, and I'm on there about once a week, so...
Right.
Ooh, how many likes is the last podcast? Oh, good. Brilliant.
No, it's going well. Numbers are good. Numbers
good.
are still astonishing. So yeah, all good. Thank you very much for
Thanks,
tuning in. And yeah, you'll get part 2 of
the co-starring Mitch.
Co-star 3-way special. It went a bit long.
Yeah.
It went a little
it's a
bit
bit
long.
Of a mammoth.
It's not a mammoth.
I tell you what, it's a 47-minute long podcast. So if you'd rather we split it into a 2, tweet us.
No, I'm not doing that. It's not organic, and there's no introduction. We like the organic one take. Leave it running.
That's why there's so much trash, because we just do it in one take.
Mainly because we haven't quite worked out how the editing would work yet. So yeah, cool.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Catch you again soon.
Bye.
Cheers then. Bye.